Next, please welcome Mike Fetchy with the Senior Director in Innovative Applications and Do It to talk about campus email changes. Mike.
Well, hello. Thanks for the time to come meet with all of you. I recognize a lot of faces, and there's a lot of new faces. Just a little background, I just started with Creighton back in November, and I'm really, really liking it. So thanks for the opportunity, and hopefully I can share some information on cloud email that many of you have heard about over the last 2 or 3 years. Um, so, so what we'll cover is where we've been, some of the work we're currently doing, and some of the plans for the future, because it's all not set in stone, and so that might be contrary to what a lot of you have heard. So hopefully we'll clear that up, and we'll leave some time for questions at the end. Okay, so a little bit of history. I put up here three email solutions that you've all probably heard of. Currently, this is the one we're using now, the Microsoft Exchange on-premise solution, and it's the Exchange 2003 edition. So you think of 2003, yes, it is old. There are two newer releases of Microsoft Exchange, but we had not made that decision to move forward until just recently, and you'll hear more about that right now. The other two you've heard about. We've heard of decisions. We're going to Gmail, but that's not actually been made. So there's a myth that you need to keep in mind. And then Live at EDU is a Microsoft offering, which would be in the cloud. It's not something that where the email would be on premise. Both that and the Gmail solution would be in the cloud. The Live at EDU, we looked at that, and it was determined that it didn't fully meet the needs of the university. So that one's not been adopted yet. So that's kind of where we've been, and this is over, and I'm learning a lot of this since I came on, over the last 2, 3, 4 years, and I think Sean Kelly has the exact date that this all started, so we can check with him if you need to know the exact date. So what we have decided to proceed with is we do want to upgrade our Exchange environment, which is going to be an upgrade right here on campus to our Exchange servers. So that's in our data centers. We're going to upgrade the Microsoft Exchange software. The benefits of that, as you can see up here, for those of you that are Mac users, you'll be able to use your Mac mail client. A lot of folks like that, but on the old version of Exchange, you just couldn't use it. If you have a Mac and once Do It approves and validates the 2011 version of the Microsoft Office suite that's available for the Mac, then you'll be able to use Outlook on your Mac instead of Entourage. Entourage works, but there's some limitations to it. So there'll be some better support for the Mac beyond what's currently available. The stability issues, right now, the Exchange 2003 environment is running on, you probably all remember this company, Gateway servers. So they're a little old, a little outdated. There's 4 of them. We did lose one recently, so we had to move that to our virtual environment, to a virtual machine that's running there. We still have 3 others. We'd like to retire them and get all of the email running on our virtual machine environment. So with that would be more stability from a hardware perspective, and then all the software upgrades that have been done by Microsoft the last 7 years will also be in play if we go through with this upgrade. So we've made the decision to actually do this. So we're proceeding, and I'll tell you a little more about that now. The other benefit to this upgrade is the OWA, which is the web version of your email client, also known as CU Mail. That will have some enhancements to it as well. The experience will be a lot better for those of you not using Internet Explorer browsers. So if you're a fan of Firefox, Safari, Chrome, your experience using CU Mail will improve once we go to Exchange 2010. Okay, so additional info. One of the considerations for the email environment is how big is my mailbox size. As we're looking at the cloud side, that might be something we can improve on, but for this upgrade, the size of your mailboxes will remain the same. We're not adding capacity there at this point. That's going to be an expense that we didn't have in the budget to do, so we're just going to keep those static. The way we're going to test this upgrade, and right now we've nearly finished building our test environment. So we're going to test with all the OSs, meaning Microsoft uh, Windows XP on the desktop. We'll probably test with Windows Vista on the desktop, the various browsers that we've talked about, the various mobile devices, a lot of folks with their own mobile devices, a lot of those that are supported by Creighton itself. So we have a variety of tests, and there's also other internal systems such as Banner and Medicat that also interface directly with Exchange, so we need to make sure that those interfaces still work correctly. So that's the testing effort that's underway. Um, and we're still targeting that Q2 deployment, so April, May, June timeframe to do that. And you'll all hear more information as we get closer to that, and you'll hear more as we work with various groups around campus to actually do the testing of the new environment. Okay, so that covers the current state of things. We are still in research and development for a cloud solution for email. We think it's going to help us. We think it's going to provide us cost savings and more flexibility. It'll better support a more mobile community around campus with multiple ways to get to their email. And it's the way of the future. We just need to figure out what's the best way for Creighton. So with respect to that feature richness, what are the various features of Outlook and other email clients that we currently use on campus? We need to make sure we factor that in and how we'd either duplicate that or replace that set of features if we went to a cloud solution. Information security, a very big one that we need to make sure we're in compliance with. Medical records, anything to do with HIPAA, anything to do with FERPA and student information. All of those things are being considered. Our information security teams working closely with all of the potential vendors to, vet all of those scenarios, working with other universities to see how they've handled similar type solutions. Provisioning, what we mean by that is when a new person is either enrolled as a student or a new staff or faculty member, we need to provision their accounts. And doing it on campus is one thing. Interfacing with a cloud solution will be a different story. So we need to make sure that all our interfaces and hooks work for that. And then finally, support, training, communication, some things that a lot of times get left till the very end of a project. We want to make sure that we consider those things up front, so we've got those various teams engaged as we're doing the evaluation for the next generation of email. Okay, timeline, ongoing. The current environment that we're on, Exchange 2003 and even 2010, we have some things that we need to do to clean up a lot of the legacy work that's been done over the last few years. We have some public folders. Many of you probably received a survey on that. Microsoft has already said they're getting rid of them. So at some point we need to get out of public folders and go into more resource shared folders, much like you probably all do with shared conference rooms and calendars and whatnot. Mail relays, these are just devices that can generate emails. They're talking to some old hardware that we just need to have them point to the correct hardware. And there's 3 or 4 other small items that will take time to get cleaned up. So that's been ongoing and will continue. In the next month or two, Microsoft has a new offering in their cloud email environment. It's called Office 365. The thing that they've done differently there is they've taken their Exchange technology, which we have running on premise, and that's the core guts of their cloud offering now. The live.edu that I mentioned earlier was not running on Exchange. It was an old, I think it was a Hotmail infrastructure for those of you that have Hotmails. So this is a more robust offering. We on the project team will get access in the next few weeks to about 25 test accounts, so we can start evaluating that and seeing how it works for us. Okay, and then with the arrival of the Office 365 beta, we'll go into full gear comparing features. We're going to reach out to a lot of you. Again, I know we did this a couple years ago, a lot of town halls and whatnot to gather input on how this works, but we'll need help from the staff, the administration, faculty, students. We also need to consider a lot of remote students that 2 or 3 years ago, the same numbers weren't there, but those numbers are up now. So they'll all provide input on the features, and we'll have to compare, the Microsoft Exchange that we have, Microsoft in the cloud, Gmail in the cloud, and who knows, another competing solution may arrive. We haven't heard of any at this point, but so those are our key ones. So that's just take place in full force this summer and probably the fall semester, and then towards the end of this calendar year, this group that will form will make a final recommendation. And the recommendation may be kind of a hybrid. It won't be, hey, we're moving everybody to solution X. It may be certain groups need to go to this solution, certain other groups are better served by being in the cloud because they're students and they're here temporarily. So that's kind of the game plan for now. Okay. Thank you for your time.